I've come to find out over the years that what I really like is repairing things that are broken, especially those things that are destined to the junk heap, and also building and designing custom objects that fit a specific need. So a need arose when the local high school band needed storage racks for their color guard flags. Typically, a color guard's used about 3 to 5 flags per show, so that ends up having a lot of different flags that needed to be stored. So sometimes I like to design items straight, just sitting down with a piece of paper and drawing it out, but then sometimes I like to see what's out there commercially made, and is that product cost cheaper than it is for me to buy materials and to cut those materials up and build it myself. There's not really many ideas, and then there's not really that many commercial options out there, so it's on to the drawing board. So drawing, a subject that's really become controversial to people I talk with. Most people can't draw from birth. You really have to have a natural talent to just draw exactly what you see. And I do not have that talent. But I've learned over the years, practice, and I'm not the best drawer or sketcher, but I've learned to get it good enough that I can at least show on paper what I'm thinking. And besides practicing regularly, a YouTube channel I found that's been very instructive is sketchaday.com, and that's where I learned to use this Prismacolor Premier black pencil. It's the PC 935 for sketching, and it's changed the way I've sketched. And I also like to use their particular pencil sharpener, the smaller diameter of the two, and it gets the pencil pretty sharp. And that's another key, is to keep your pencil sharp as you're sketching to get better lines. So sharpen pretty often. So right now, what makes woodworking and sketching help me draw better is that I can visualize. I've been doing woodworking for so long that I can visualize how I'm going to put something together, and because of that, I can spatially draw something as I would build it. So that kind of helps me relate it from my brain to the pencil. Now you see, I'm not perfect, that I'm trying to figure out here what angle I want to put these posts that are going to hold the flags on. And here I go. I wanted about a 15 degree, but because of the way the angle of the picture is, it's hard for me to do a relationship of 15 degrees to the angle of the rack. Now once you get the sketch, I pull out my Papermate Flare. It's a medium tip, and this is where I'm going to go over all my pencil lines to define the shape more. Before, you can just kind of sketch and be freehand, and the lines don't have to be perfectly straight, but it gives me a general idea of what it's going to look like. And now I'm tracing over with the flare to get the lines a little bit more definition. So this is going to be 4 uprights, and there's going to be 2 horizontal pieces to hold those uprights square to each other. And those 4 uprights are going to be connected to a base, kind of like a subfloor in a house. And that's what I'm drawing here right now. So those uprights are 8 foot tall, and the base is about 2 feet deep. And then the posts that are going to be made out of conduit tubing is going to be 18 inches at a 15 degree angle. And I'm going to do those conduits on all 4 of the posts, but here, to make the drawing more simple, I only do the 2 middle ones. I didn't draw them on all the posts, but all 4 posts will have 5 layers of shelves on it. Again, this is just a concept drawing, just to get an idea of what it's going to look like. Now here I pull out my favorite marker. This is the Milwaukee, their brand of the Sharpie. It's a medium tip also, but it's a little thicker. And this is the trick I learned from Sketchaday, is you take the thicker marker and you outline your entire object, and that gives the body of the object in a little bit more definition, and it looks more, I guess, real. I don't know all the theory behind the drawing and all that, but it gives it more life than sketching the same line thickness of the entire thing. So here it gives it, I guess it's more shadowing effect, and it looks more real to me when I do that. So you're using multiple different pins to get different effects and different line thicknesses. And again, this isn't a perfect showpiece, but it gets the job done. Oh, and also, always sign your artwork and the date. So be proud of what you did, no matter what it looks like. So let's get started on building our project for today. Right now I'm setting up the table saw to begin cutting the wood to build what we're going to do is our first jig. The purpose of the jig is to create repeatability on our drill press. And what we're going to do with it first is to cut the holes for our upright. Remember that 15 degrees that we are going to put the conduit pipe in? Well, here I am laying out where the pipes are going to be on all four of the racks so that they're even. So now once the uprights are placed on the drill press, I line up the line that I just drew to the bit, and then we start drilling. So you see how easy it is. We just line up the line to the bit, and it's perfectly centered. I love using drills because it makes things a lot easier, and you don't have to think about trying to get the center of it. And using the jig, it's creating it at that 15-degree angle, so I don't have to worry about them being at different angles. It's all going to look uniform in the end. Now the base of this, like we talked about before, it kind of looks like a subfloor of a house, and that will be the main base of it. And here I'm just showing, I already marked on the back of it where those upright posts are going to be placed, just so that I know to put them on which side of those center supports, so they're not in the wrong spot. So now we're just finishing up the front of the base by screwing in the front plate. And now I needed to cut the horizontal two back pieces to square up the vertical rack part of it. And I'm pre-drilling the holes because by the time we get to installing it, it is going to be up in the air, and I've got to be able to drill the screws in by myself. And now I'm using my portable bandsaw with the Harbor Freight rack, which if you haven't seen that video, that's an interesting video that we had some interesting conclusions about, but I still love it and I use it every day. So now I'm building another jig because the pipes weren't fitting in tight into the uprights, and I wanted to make sure that no one could pull them out. So I'm going to build a jig here that I can put a repeatable screw hole into the wood to hold the pipe. So here I am drilling where I want the hole to be, and it's going to go at the exact same spot every time in relation to ship to the pipe. And that way I can use a self-tapping screw and to screw through the wood and into the pipe, and then no one can pull the pipe out. You see, that's my test piece. Now I did do another project for the screw, and this is the paint that's left over their school colors, and I only had a quarter of a quart of paint left, so I had to brush it on. I couldn't spray it because that's all I had was that little bit, but it was just enough to paint everything. So here, after cutting the pipe, you get those burrs on the inside and outside of the pipe. Well, here I'm using my favorite Milwaukee pliers. They have a deburr on the end of it, and it comes in handy. So at this point of the story, we've got everything cut. I had to keep them in separate parts. I couldn't assemble at the shop and then take it over to the school. These pieces were 8 foot tall, so I couldn't build it all in one piece and then stick it in there. So the plan was to take each piece separately and assemble it in the room itself when I got there. The other issue is I had a time constraint, and with it being at the school, I didn't know the rules on filming inside the school, so I decided not to video any of the assembly of the stand. But I was able to video the final product to kind of show you what it looked like all assembled. The big thing that I didn't show was I 3D printed caps that go on to the end of the conduit pipe. One for eye protection, but two, put a little bit of school pride in there and to show the logo of the school on it. But other than that, it turned out really good. It works exactly how we wanted it to, and everyone was happy. I enjoyed building it for a specific job for the location, and the color guard was ecstatic. So I think we can call this complete. And if you'd like to see more videos like the one that you just saw, you can check here and here. And remember the ABCs of making. Always be creating. Till next time.